Hello and welcome to the Inner Compass podcast. I am Victoria, founder of the Inner Compass Collective, and this is a space for high achieving women who are at a crossroads, successful on paper, but sensing something deeper is calling. So if you're at a crossroads in your career or life, if you've outgrown something but you don't yet know what comes next, and you're craving direction that feels aligned instead of forced, then you are in the right place. And here we talk about identity shifts, self-trust, and defining your true north from your own inner compass so that you can consciously design your next chapter without abandoning success and abandoning yourself. So in today's episode, I'm going to be speaking to Renee, who is a musician by night, occupational therapist by day. Welcome, Renee. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
If you want to just give a quick introduction to the audience of who you are.
Yeah, so as you said, my name's Renee. I'm a singer-songwriter based in Ballarat in Australia. But yeah, I guess I sort of went down the career path of occupational therapy and yeah, I'm kind of moving more into musician at the moment and it's been quite the journey.
And that's why I love the musician by night, the occupational therapist by day, because you're really in that like transition period in terms of what's making it possible. Tell me, occupational therapy, what led you into that? And then where were the triggers that you started to feel or hear that made you start to pursue music more seriously?
Yeah, I guess I went into occupational therapy, like knowing that I wanted to go into healthcare. I knew I couldn't be a nurse because I'm not very good with blood. So I knew it had to be like an allied health area.
Mm.
OT was kind of what I got into. So I really had no idea what it was when I started university. And then I ended up going through my course and starting working, and I actually just like loved it. So I really do enjoy OT and it's been an amazing career. Like I've done it for 15 years now. But yeah, I guess I was working in an area. I was there for about 8 years in community and it was a lovely team, really good work, but there was just sort of something that was kind of pulling me. And I had this interesting experience when I was working and I went out on a home visit. So I'd see people in their homes and I got chatting to this client about where they grew up and they said that they grew up in a little country town. And I was like, oh, wow, my dad grew up in that little country town. And she was like, oh, what's your dad's name? And I
Mm.
said my dad's name. And she's like, oh my God, I'm your auntie. And so it was this really crazy experience where I hadn't seen this lady for about 20 years and she looked very different. When I knew her, she was like this bigger lady, full of energy. And when I met her, she was quite unwell and she was frail and about 45 kilos. So I went through this journey with her through death and dying. And it was such a special kind of experience supporting her through that life transition. And I was actually there present when she died. And I kind of realized that, wow, like that was such a beautiful moment. And it felt really amazing to support her in that moment because she didn't really have anyone around her. And so I thought, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing. I ended up transitioning out of my community role and onto a palliative care ward. That was such an interesting move. Once I got to working in palliative care, I absolutely loved that as well. But I just met so many younger people that didn't have the opportunity to live out their dreams. And that experience really changed me. It made me realize that there's actually nothing stopping me doing what I love. And so it was that moment that I went, you know what? I need to pursue my music. I need to just do what I enjoy. And I didn't have any grand plans with that. It was just, let's just follow it and see what happens.
Yeah. When did your passion for music kick off? How old were you?
I always say I was singing before I could talk.
Mm.
I would look out the window and make up songs about what I'd see. And yeah, I was always songwriting, like even as a really, really little child. And I've got a 5-year-old son, and he's exactly the same as me. So I feel like it's kind of innately in us. And then throughout school, I spent my lunchtimes in the music room. We had a girl band, we recorded. My friend and I had a little band with our English teacher, and we'd travel around to country pubs and we'd sing. And yeah, it was so funny, but we loved it. It was so much
Yeah.
fun. The passion's always been there.
I have another question, but I want to kind of come back to their palliative care because I remember reading that book from the palliative care nurse, which said the top 5 regrets of the dying, and then the top one regret was not living a life that was true to who they are. So it's interesting that that experience hit you in the same way as just that realization that we've only got one
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, absolutely. It was quite profound, I guess, in that meeting these amazing people and being, some of them were my age or younger, and you think, wow, like,
Mm.
it's almost like let's do this for them because they didn't get that opportunity. Like, what's
Mm.
stopping me other than fear,
Mm.
really?
Yeah. Which leads me to my next question. The blocks, because obviously music was a passion right through childhood and up into career. What was the block stopping you from doing this earlier than you did?
Yeah, I think I never thought I was good enough. So I always thought it was just going to be a hobby.
Mm.
And so I had a cover band, which I did for like 10 years, and it was very casual, but I was always really self-conscious about my voice. And so I think that was definitely a block. And yeah, I think that fear of being seen and being out there and visible.
Yeah. And did you, I mean, those are such common blocks for so many women. Did you ever see it or believe that it was possible to be like a source of income or eventually move from a side hustle to full blown, this is what I do?
Not back then. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
And it's still kind of evolving now. And I
Mm.
think it's just been taking little steps
Mm-hmm.
in that direction and not really knowing where it will lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's true, right? Like the we get taught a very, very like limited version of what we can, earn money from. And often a lot of the creative avenues are not part of that. At least they weren't when I was growing up. You're a millennial as well. They just weren't sold as paths that are to make a living, I guess, is the separation. Like, right, all of them, writing, art, music.
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely something that I grew up like, you go to university, you get a good job and you work, and the creative part isn't even kind of part of that.
Mm.
And even though, music isn't making me money right now, it's given me so much more than money and so much more than money could ever give me in terms of the experiences that I've had, the
Mm.
people that I've met, and just my sense of self has grown so much since doing this.
Yeah. Talk me through like a moment where, because obviously, and this is where I think a lot of people have this misconception that people that step into do paths that they once thought weren't possible, that they've just like miraculously got rid of their fear or like their beliefs. But tell me about like a moment where, like, even with that not enough or that visibility, and you still felt it and you stood up and performed or did whatever you were doing anyway, and what that felt like.
Yeah, I think it's funny, like the actual performing for me has always been something that like all the fear disappears as soon as I'm on stage and singing. Like that part's easy. And I think for me, it's the social media, like, in the music industry now, social media is such a big thing in terms of your growth as a musician.
Mm.
And like I know when I started first out on this journey, and me, like I wouldn't have even, I was so scared to post anything, and that fear of judgment and what people would think of me. And there was so much thoughts going on in my head, and I'd have so much anxiety. And I just felt like I couldn't share my true thoughts, on social media. And so it was really just about sitting with that anxiety and that fear and then going really gently. So If I'd put something out and it was too much for my nervous system, I might actually just delete it and be like, okay, we'll work up to that.
Yeah.
So just, it was almost like a process of being seen in my authentic self because I had to become comfortable with who I was first.
Yeah.
And that's an ongoing
Mm.
process.
Yeah, 100%. I love that you're doing the one by one because I think that's where a lot of people fall off is like the vision is too big or too far and then they try
Mhm.
and leap it all. But that's the thing. Like, and I mean, you work in OT with nervous system. Our nervous systems won't allow that. So there is going step by step by step. And then talk me through like some of the magic crazy things that have happened just through that act, like just going step by step. What has happened that you were like, I would have never seen that coming?
I think one of the first things that happened was I literally went into the recording studio to record my first song as like a present to myself. So I had no expectations of it at all, doing anything. It was just something that I wanted to do for fun. And I honestly thought I was that bad at it that the producer would like laugh me out of the room and be like, okay, catch you, I'll never talk to you again. And anyway, that first song that we recorded ended up on ABC radio, on country radio. And that was like one of the biggest like shocks of my life and
Yeah.
probably one of the biggest validators that I needed to be like, okay, you're on the radio, you're okay, you're not terrible. Izzy, the producer, was like, come back and do some more. And so we developed this friendship and we ended up recording 6 songs together.
Yeah.
And then the next thing was getting accepted into a program here with my local council where you had to apply. And so there's lots of applicants, and I got selected. And what part of that was being mentored. And I ended up being mentored by Lior, who's an ARIA award winning
Mm.
musician in Australia, like very highly regarded and an incredible musician. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I ended up being mentored by him, and it was just a crazy experience. And we're still in touch, and he's, my friend as well now. And it's just
Yeah.
these things are crazy to me. I would have never thought those things would have happened.
And that's the magic because, like, when we just pursue what we genuinely just want to do out of enjoyment, that's often what occurs. It's just like support for the path that you wouldn't have thought was possible unless you stepped into it, right?
No, and like landing really big support acts for big artists and things again that, yeah, I just would never have expected. And they've happened, I've done them and they were amazing. And it's like, okay, well, let's keep going.
Yeah, this is it, right? The build. Have you hit any moments where you've totally wanted to just give up?
Yeah, I think last year was really busy. I'm a single mom, so I'm parenting, I'm doing OT during the day. I was doing the program, I was doing gigs, I was forming a band. Like it was a lot. And I was sort of crashing out and kind of having some fatigue, and I got really sick. And yeah, I think there were definitely moments where I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I feel like I had to kind of put in that little bit of a hustle at that
Mm.
time to then this year be able to create a bit more balance. It was me having to go, you know what, Renee, you're doing too much. Just back it up a bit. You don't have to do it all at once. And I think that was kind of part of my lesson as well, that this can be slow going. It's okay.
Yeah. That's something that's a lot of women are gonna struggle with is the balancing, particularly at the beginning. I certainly had it as well. I was full-time in corporate studying building. How did you end up managing it or have like I don't even know if you can fully get to the right balance for at least a little while, but
Mm.
what would be your advice for managing building like a side hustle at the same time as keeping like full-time and everything going?
Yeah, I'm really lucky with my OT work that I've got a really beautiful team and a really lovely manager. And, we actually built that into my
Ah.
PDR this year that when I have big gigs, I'm going to book in an annual leave day, which is actually today. Today I'm on an annual leave day because I had a big gig on the weekend. And this is part of my plan of like sustainability for
Mm,
this year.
yeah.
I think working in with what you're doing and actually planning around it is a big one. I'm also lucky enough that I'm working part-time and I'm dedicating a day to music now. So I'm starting to make that transition. I've got a bit more of a balance. And I'm also
Yeah.
just not booking gigs on the weekends that I have my son. Like I'm trying to be very conscious of that this year, that that's our time. And if there is a big gig, then that's okay. I can miss that. Like kind of
Yeah.
having some boundaries, I guess.
And it's so important. And I think, even to your point of like your work working around it, I think this is a block for a lot of people where they think it's not possible. But it happened with me too. I said, this is what I'm doing. And I think we're in this energy where employers are working out that they call it like the portfolio career, where this is a thing. Like people are starting to do a variety of different things. And then it's like, what's the balance? So I think if you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like the support's been phenomenal, really. It's surprised me, really. It's been amazing.
That's what happens when you're going the right way. It's the different wind supports that come in. It's annoying.
Mm.
So, what have been some of your biggest lessons or growth in the journey so far?
I think for me, it's been about like returning to myself and having confidence in myself and making decisions for myself. So when I went through a divorce, it's been about 3 years now. And so the music's kind of been a reflection of what I've been going through. And
Mm.
I think coming back to center and trusting myself and becoming grounded in where I'm at. And
Mm.
yeah, so it's been kind of twofold. It's been a journey of self and then also the musical journey as well. So
And they say that it's on the pursuit of entrepreneurship and basically like making our own path. It's a development of the identity before anything. Like that's almost the first step, like the identity build, like the confidence, that really just seeing what you can actually do and believing in
yeah.
yourself and
And
trusting.
honestly, like I'm unrecognizable to who I was before that
Mm,
divorce. Like completely.
yeah.
I've almost like come back to myself of when I was a teenager and I was confident and happy and I kind of lost all that for a very long time. And so I think yeah, that's definitely been one of the biggest parts of all of this.
A return to self.
Yeah.
I think that's what, like, if we think of soul-led career or like mission and purpose, that is ultimately what it is it's a return to self. And I know with a lot of your music as well, like it speaks to the things that you've been through. So, it,
Yeah, there's definitely an element of vulnerability. And I think that was definitely a block to begin with because
mm,
I had a lot of fear around sharing my story and sharing that kind of shadow element of myself and the
mm,
things that would come out in that time that, are not necessarily things I'm proud of or, yeah, but I was in it and that's my story and it's okay to, not be doing okay all the time.
yeah, exactly. That's so cool. What have been your biggest highlights so far?
Biggest highlights working with Lior and having him as a mentor. And then he invited me up to sing with him. There was a festival in my favorite town of all time, Port Fairy, and he had me come up and sing a song with me. And he said, "Oh, I'm just going to send you the female vocal that you can practice with." And it
Mm,
was Sia. So Sia sings the song with him, who again is like massive Australian singer-songwriter. It was just a bit surreal. Like I'm learning this song that's sung by Sia, and then I'm getting up in this beautiful old church, and it was Lior with this string quartet and like beautiful acoustics. And then here I am singing in harmony with him, which again, I've just completely excelled what I ever thought I could ever achieve with my music. So that was probably one of the biggest highlights of my life. And it was
yeah.
really cute because I took my mum and dad and I didn't tell them that I was getting up. And so they were just completely in shock when he invited me up on stage. Yeah, it was just a really beautiful moment.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love your story. There'll be so many people sitting on things like this that they're just not really believing in themselves enough to push forward. But then just through the act of surrender, you've gone beyond what you even thought was
Yeah.
possible.
And I
By
think
following joy, really.
absolutely. And I guess, you've got to choose who you talk to about these things.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a really big one because I was definitely given some advice in my early 20s that really set me on a path of thinking that there's no way I could do this and kind of really fed into that I'm not good enough. I don't trust what people have previously said because music and art is so individual. So not everyone's going to like you, but there's billions of people in this world and there'll be someone out there who likes what you do.
Yeah, this is it, right? It's like I've had to learn that too. And I think the people that you surround yourself with is so important on this journey because a lot of the people that have been in your life for a while, your family, like they don't know they don't know how to support shifts and changes. And it's quite, I found that part really hard because you're like, it's not that yeah, it's just like a lack of cheerleading, I guess,
Yeah, and almost
trying to
like a
pull that
projection
down.
of fear as well,
Yeah, it
and
is,
not
right?
fully seeing that potential,
Yeah.
which is hard to cultivate in yourself as well if the
Mm-hmm.
ones that you love and are surrounded by
Yeah.
don't see as well. So I think that can be a challenge. And I just had one beautiful friend who said I sung my songs to her and she was like, Renee, these are really good. You should do something with them. And that was all it took, just that one supportive person
Yeah.
to go, okay, well, I might go and record it as something fun to do.
Yeah. That is what we need. Like yeah, we can find it in ourselves, but then it just amplifies when we can. It doesn't take many people. You just need like one cheerleader.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the make or break.
Yeah.
Mhm. And so, where do you see your journey with music going, or at least your next step?
Yeah, so at the moment, like I'm getting ready to release an album sort of towards the end of the year. And so I've made a bit of an investment into like getting proper PR support. And so someone to promote it. And again, that's been a bit of you've got to get someone who likes your music. And it was pretty cool when Paul Kelly's old manager said that he liked my music and has taken that on. So that's been a really big, yeah, big, exciting step forward. And yeah, kind of the plan for this year. And then yeah, I'm just really loving working with my band at the moment. So like it's pretty special to have other musicians that, are playing your songs and supporting you and are just as invested as I am. So we're
Mm.
just trying to rehearse and get more gigs at the moment. So
Yeah,
yeah, we've got a big festival coming up in May. So yeah, just keeping on really.
that's awesome. I look forward to seeing that. What would you say have been your biggest like sources or things that have kept you going or supported you to get to where you are now?
I think the supportive people, that's definitely one. So having those good people around you, having people, that maybe share the same values as you or can see outside of the normal structures of how things should be done. Yeah, it's important to have those people around you.
Mhm.
I think, again, just coming back to that sense of self and having those practices like yoga and meditation to really support me when I'm feeling anxious or scared or whatever it is, just to kind of come back to self. I think that's been a big one as well. Yeah, I think they're probably the two biggest things for me.
I love that you said that last one because obviously that's, I mean, the the real basis of the Inner Compass Collective. It's certainly like something that I have to do as well as the centering. Coming out of corporate, you're almost taught to problem solve or like force through, but it just doesn't work. Like you have to be
Mm,
centered and in that energy to create anything that is like this, like anything that you love, anything that you're passionate about, your mission, all of that. It has to come from
yeah,
that energy. So I love that you said that.
absolutely. And creating space in your life for it, which is
Mm,
a big one. But you
yeah.
can't be creative without the space to create.
No, you can't at all. Like, And that is the design, right? Because if you keep people busy, then they stop creating. And I think, at least I want to see this, because the world is starting to speed up even more, and it's going to create this gap between the soul wants to create, like whatever your mode is or whatever your form is, if it's speaking, singing, like writing, that's what we're all craving, is like an expression, finding the
Absolutely.
mode.
Expression and that authenticity, I think, from being someone that's been a people pleaser and always thought, what does everyone else around me want? Like, I think, again, music's really opened me up to being like, well, this is me. You can love me or hate me. That's
Hey,
okay, which is, again, been a huge
and that's a
shift for
massive
me.
thing. Yeah, big shift.
Massive.
Mhm. And so, if you could like picture women who, particularly with the creative pursuits, if they were sitting in your spot right before you kind of decided to pursue music, what would you say to them? What are some words of advice that you would give them?
Yeah, I think especially for me, like I started this journey in my late 30s. I'm a mother, I've had a career, I've done all those things. I think that can be a shift that, your life doesn't have to be static, like it doesn't have to
Mm,
stay the same. And just knowing that with small changes, you can actually make huge changes and it can be slow and you might have an end vision that you can't ever see yourself getting to, but just taking those tiny little steps towards what makes you feel good or what you enjoy doing can have massive changes in your life and to
mm,
not feel guilty for wanting something more for yourself. Because I think as mothers, especially, it's like, oh, we're doing these things for our kids, but you're allowed to do things for yourself. You're still human. You're still,
yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah. And you kind of hit on, like, they're calling it the Great Millennial Career Crisis, which is around about this age. And there
Hmm.
is a definite fear where people are like, well, I've spent all this time building. But the thing, and it'll probably happen for you at some point, is there's like a meshing occur. Like, I wanted to just totally flop and fuck off my corporate career. But I learned, like, a lot of what I'm doing now is really actually pretty similar. Like, it was using psychology to build business strategy, and now I'm like using human psychology to build your own strategy. Like,
Hmm.
and there's a meshing that goes on. So there's never like I think that's a lot of the fear, is like completely having to let go, but it's everything's a stepping stone. Well, I mean, even your wake up call was part of your work. Like, this is the thing, it was part of your occupational therapy.
And I think knowing that if you get led in a direction and it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that it was a wrong choice. That actually might be
Mm,
leading you to the next step or the next path that you wouldn't have got to if you hadn't have made that first change.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like it's not a failure, it's just you're on the path and that's part of it.
Yeah, that's right. You've reminded me of like a quote that I heard, which was like, intuition isn't going to lead you to success and happiness, it's going to lead you to evolution. And if you're following this path and you need to, get a slap in the face or conquer your fear of rejection or fear of failure,
Mm.
you're going to get something that you're going to fail at, or you're going to be
Hmm.
rejected to conquer it. You're not going to be like, oh, lovely, I'm just walking into everything that
That's
I
gone
desired.
now. That's a good point, is that this hasn't been easy at all. It's been really, really hard at times, but worth every moment. And I think that's the journey of it, isn't it? Like for me, climbing to Machu Picchu, it was one of the hardest physical things I've done, but it's one of the most beautiful. And I kind of see this journey as a bit the same. Like it's really hard, but
Yeah.
it's really beautiful at the same time.
Yeah. And it's the tension. And that's where a lot of people will give up, because it is hard. It does get hard. But the hard part is like, I hate using the word test, but it really kind of is. It's like, how much do you want? How willing are you to just keep going?
Keep going. Yeah.
And it will happen. All of the musicians that would be like famous as fuck right now, they would have all had it too. Because at
Yeah.
one point they were never known. Like, it's
Yeah.
just, you've got to pick your why that's strong enough that when it does get hard, because it will get hard, you just
Hmm.
keep
Keep
going
going. Yeah,
like a mad person.
exactly. I would definitely come under that
Sometimes
banner.
I'm sitting here being like, what am I even doing? But I can't go back. Like, this is
No,
just,
there's no turning back now.
there's no turning back. It's like, well, you just got to keep going forward.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Oh,
And who knows
amazing.
where we will be in another year, 2 years, 5 years, 10
No.
years.
The energy right now is definitely supportive for the true why. I feel like it has been a bit of a slog energetically for a little bit, but yeah, it's like a decision point or an inflection point of which way you're going to go. It's like, well, I'm not going that way, so I've got to go this way.
Hmm.
Are you
Yeah,
ready? Not really, but let's go.
let's give it a go.
What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. Love it.
Oh, awesome. Do you have any final words that you would want to share to anyone that's listening to this that's on the edge?
Yeah, I think go and have a coffee with your supportive person and just talk about step one. I think sometimes just having that one person believe in you is
Hmm.
enough to just make a start. And I think that was what did it for me.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sarah.
Awesome. I'm going to put the links to, is it your Spotify
Yes,
and
thank
your
you.
Instagram as well for people to follow, to listen to Renee's music and to support. I think that's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Loved it.
Thank you. Loved having you on.